Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local. So you alluded to links just a moment ago. It's something we're not going to talk about, but I think it's really worth a future conversation. Is Rand Fishkin's article about the disappearance of links from the web. I think that's a really big topic and really interesting about all the walled gardens that want to keep you inside and don't want you to link out. And Mike, you showed us the piece you wrote got mentioned in Media Post, the Walmart piece that we just talked about, and there was no link back to the original story, which is pretty common for them. So it's interesting. You know, the web is sort of changing fundamentally. Privacy and advertising technology changes, and now maybe the reduction in linking is having some pretty fundamental impacts on the way things are playing out. You know, that's a big topic that we'll come back to.
All Google has to say is you're going to get a ranking improvement if you link out.
Yeah, it's true. That shows you their dominance, right there. That statement right there. That's all you
linking.
You can. Yeah, you can testify before the DOJ and to Google's dominance in that one that's a metaphor. Anyway, so my topic today is really about sort of the emergence of a couple of new directories. So we wrote about this week Twitter. You know, Twitter introduced professional profiles in April, I believe, and now they're promoting the idea of an about module for physical businesses. Gives you address information, directions. There's a directions button and a contact button that you can sort of put anything behind that. And so the use case is that you're going to see the business on Twitter. You're going to reach out to them. You're going to go physically visit them through the directions link. So there's that, and then WhatsApp more or less simultaneously started promoting I think it's only in Brazil right now, but it seems like a global effort, a new directory. So they've got an in-app business directory of all the businesses on WhatsApp, and they've been making the WhatsApp profiles much more actionable, commerce enabled, contact details. They've been doing that over time. So we've got potentially two new local search opportunities here. WhatsApp and Twitter My Business. Of the two of them, WhatsApp seems much more viable and much more serious, especially outside the U.S. So what do you think? What do you think about this? Are these two things going to have any traction? I'm skeptical about Twitter because I don't really see consumers searching for businesses on Twitter. There doesn't seem to be a way to do that. It's like if you follow a business or you happen upon a business, maybe you'll use it. But I don't see it being a major consumer utility.
Totally agree. There's only a handful of businesses where I've seen them, using Twitter well, and they're typically like mobile food carts. And so that actually would be a perfect use case, but it's a really small segment of the SMB population. I think that the natural use case for WhatsApp is much more substantial given its sort of de facto status as almost like a communication channel between customers and businesses in the developing world, and could very well be taking off with respect to payments. I haven't been following kind of what WhatsApp's doing on that front, and that's how Facebook has been positioning it as a communication channel.
Yeah, I think Twitter.
So I think that
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Twitter's historic lack of execution leaves one. I mean, personally, it's not a market they currently are serving. Why would they be able to serve it all of a sudden? It's hard to imagine that businesses will take it up and thus it'll get dropped. I am curious from a technical point of view whose mapping software they're using. But other than that, I think it's bound to failure.
I don't know, Mike. Here is the one that springs to mind, but
that would be appropriate.
Sort of doubting that's. Yeah, it would. That's right. But I didn't see it in the reports at all. Who was behind it?
I think it defaults to Google Maps, but I think you can put other mapping. I think you can put other mapping apps behind it if you want. But I think WhatsApp is really an interesting one to watch, and it is viable, and it could be quite a significant driver of small business contact, revenue, engagement going forward. And I could imagine people using it to search for businesses very easily, because it's already so well established. And Twitter, I think, is unlikely to move the needle at all, as you say, Mike. So today is background noise day.
Yeah,
here
I've got motorcycles out my window. Sorry.
And my dog was just barking, so hopefully we didn't get too much of that.
I think David should bring his
recording.
child in for a guest appearance myself, but...
All right.
I'll have to coordinate our next recording with her nap schedule a little bit.
Sounds better. Sounds good.
Yes. All right. So we're at time. Thanks again, everybody. I'm going to the Locology event in LA, much against my better judgment, next week, and that'll be sort of a gathering, the first gathering of these local SMB SaaS types that I've been at it for a long time. So I may have a few interesting things to say next week, or maybe not. I suspect the sessions won't be well attended. People will be outside doing networking mostly. But that's coming up for me. Any last thoughts or comments?
No, stay safe and say hi to everyone that Mike and I will not have seen for coming up on 2 years.
2 years.
So, yeah.
2 years. Yeah. It should be interesting. I mean, it'll be a little bit weird, but I'm going nonetheless.
Stay safe.
All right.
Very good. Have a great weekend or week whenever you happen to be listening to the Near Memo.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.